The clock of all things allows Subai to upgrade even junk-tier gear into legendary equipment. He had obtained it as a supreme-level reward after clearing the 999th floor of the Tower of God video game. But right after that, he died, only to wake up in another world. To his shock, it turned out to be the very world of Tower of God itself. Combat classes, life classes, job transfer crystals. All of it was real here. Subai starts wondering if he has transmigrated into a parallel world where the Tower of God actually exists. Here, though, the tower has only been cleared up to the 99th floor. Subai feels this is exactly the kind of opportunity he wanted. If he is the one who cleared floor 999 in the game, then here he would be unstoppable. He thinks to himself that this must be the beginning of his peak life. Before he can get carried away, the teacher shouts at everyone to sit down quietly so they can receive their teleportation crystals. Once handed out, the teacher tells them to crush the crystal to begin their transfer and wishes them good luck and safe travels. The kids are hyped beyond belief, and even Subai admits to himself that he is quite excited. He crushes the crystal immediately. A notification greets him, welcoming him to the Tower of God. It says that personal information has been bound, data is being processed, and he should wait. Then another message dings, saying that the upload has failed, a pre-registered account has been detected, and it is attempting to log in. Subai feels his pulse race. If it can log into his old account, then he will be invincible. But soon another message arrives. The account information does not match, login has failed, and the system is attempting to clear data. Subai becomes furious. The thought of his old save file being deleted irritates him more than anything. And sure enough, in an instant, all his progress is erased. After the reset, he is welcomed once more to the Tower of God. He immediately recognizes the beginner town, the place where all new players gather to buy gear and supplies before stepping into the tower. While looking around, he receives another system message. Because he had cleared the 999th floor in the original Tower of God, he is being awarded the supreme artifact, Clock of All Things. He mutters in confusion to himself, wondering what exactly this is supposed to be. In the Tower of God, he recalls, items and gear are ranked by color. White for crude, gray for common, green for rare, blue for perfect, purple for epic, and orange for legendary. The Clock of All Things, however, is on a completely different level. Its quality is marked as Supreme Artifact, a heaven-tier reward that has no level requirements. Its effect is simple yet terrifying. Upgrade. The description says it is a clock that can successfully upgrade anything with a 100% success rate, though it comes with a very small price. The vagueness of the effect makes him uneasy, but since he is just a beginner and doesn't have much to upgrade anyway, he decides to look around town first. He even wonders if the tavern lady here would still remember him. Another announcement shakes the atmosphere. Since Yen Nation was the first to clear the newbie zone, all Yen Nation players are given a blessing. Stats increased by 10%. The crowd erupts in excitement, cheering for Sword God Lin, who had cleared it first. Subai checks his own stats and thinks aloud that since the Tower of God is now real, they can no longer treat it like a simple game. If someone dies here, they really die. Still, he notes, a 10% stat boost at the beginner stage is incredibly useful for job transfers. Then he remembers his supreme artifact. If it really works, even junk tier gear can be upgraded straight into legendary. He tests it on his noob equipment. To his amazement, it succeeds. The Clock of All Things truly upgrades items at a 100% success rate. He stares at the newly transformed legendary gear in shock. Just as he is starting to feel overjoyed, another notification cuts him down. The system tells him that the action has failed due to insufficient coins. Subai suddenly realizes the harsh truth. He is completely broke. With a heavy sigh, he admits to himself that the first step in this world is not about conquering the tower. It is about making money. After all, in the Tower of God, money solves everything. At the Tower of God, beginners gathered in the thousands. The first announcement hit them like a hammer. Their beginner protection would only last 7 days. 7 days. Fail to change your class in that time, and you're expelled from the tower. That was why every newcomer's top priority was simple. Level up fast and get a class change crystal. Some were even willing to buy one from others at ridiculous prices. The crystals were that valuable. Even so, countless beginners were eliminated every single year. Inside the tavern, Subai leaned closer to the counter. He told the tavern lady that he had a few cocktail recipes and wanted to know if she was interested. One of them, he explained, was called Rare Beast Blood Wine, a drink so addictive it would keep customers coming back again and again. The tavern lady gave him a sharp look. She warned him that he'd better not be joking. Subai calmly offered to sell the recipe for 5 gold coins. He promised there was no trick involved. After a moment's hesitation, she agreed. 5 gold was nothing if the recipe was real. Still, she warned him that if he was lying, he wouldn't survive the consequences. Subai wasn't worried. He knew the recipe was genuine. It was only a basic tier 1, and he had knowledge of far better recipes tucked away in his mind. 5 minutes later, gasps filled the tavern. The wine glittered in the glass like a glowing red crystal. Everyone stared, wide-eyed. Then the crowd went wild. People pushed and shoved, fighting to get a sip. Exactly the reaction Subai had expected. The tavern lady tried it herself. Her eyes lit up. She immediately asked how many recipes he had, saying she wanted every single one. Subai chuckled. He told her he had 5 recipes in total, and since they now knew each other, he'd give her a discount. 20 gold coins for all of them. The tavern lady grinned. She told him he was quite the man, and that she was starting to like him. 20 gold coins in a single deal. Considering 1 gold meant 100 silver, and 100 silver meant 10,000 copper, that was a small fortune. More than enough to upgrade the clock of all things again. And the deal didn't end there. The tavern lady even gifted him a premium quality dagger as a bonus. Subai pocketed it, satisfied. Then, without lingering, he decided it was time to move on. The tavern lady tells Subai that if he ever comes across rarer wine recipes in the future, she would be interested in buying them too. Subai replies that she can count on it for the sake of their old friendship. The tavern lady laughs and calls him a smooth-tongued kid. Without wasting more time, Subai decides to upgrade his weapon. The process eats up a lot of silver, but the stat boost is more than worth it. As long as he manages to change his class during the protection period, spending money early is the smartest choice. Wasting time on slow development is not an option. He pours his silver into upgrades and is rewarded with some incredible results. With stats like these, clearing the first floor of the Tower of God will be as easy as slicing through a watermelon. Out at the beginner zone's outskirts, chaos is already breaking out. Players are fighting over wild rabbits. Subai frowns. He wonders why they're crowding around a creature like that. To him, the rabbit looks too cute to even think about killing. On top of that, wild rabbits barely give any experience points. Not to mention they don't even drop copper coins. But when the other players notice him walking closer, they start shouting at him. They tell him not to go into that unguarded area because it's dangerous. Subai doesn't understand what they mean by unguarded area. And then, without warning, a snake bursts out. A wind serpent strikes at him in an instant. One of the players panics and yells for Subai to watch out and come back quickly. He shouts that it's a wind serpent, one of the most dangerous monsters for beginners. Subai only smirks. He mutters that a tiny serpent like this isn't even enough to get stuck between his teeth. With one swift strike, he kills it instantly. The crowd freezes in shock. They whisper in disbelief, asking how he could possibly kill a level 1 wind serpent so casually. Subai waves it off and says there was nothing difficult about it. It only took a flick of his hand. Still, the other players keep warning him. They remind him that if a wind serpent lands a critical hit, it can kill a beginner instantly. With their weak gear and low stats, none of them could survive it. Dying once in this world means being gone forever. Subai just tosses a few copper coins toward them and thanks them for the warning. He tells them to take care of themselves too. The players wish him luck as he walks away, though once he's gone, their tone changes. They whisper to each other about how reckless he is. One of them complains that he even tried to help Subai but got brushed off coldly. He mutters that Subai will probably be dead in 5 minutes anyway. Meanwhile, Subai pushes further outside the safe zone. He notes with satisfaction that there are far fewer players here. That's exactly what he wanted. Another wind serpent appears, but just like before, Subai cuts it down in an instant. This really was just like the game Tower of Gods. But leveling up through rabbits and wind serpents felt painfully slow. Subai realizes that if he wants real progress, he will need to kill more monsters and push through the first floor as quickly as possible. More wind serpents suddenly slither out from the grass, but he cuts them down one after another. Instead of feeling tired, he feels excited, almost playful. Hunting monsters like this was definitely faster, but the drop rate was still frustratingly low. Then, an announcement shakes the entire tower. Season 10 of Tower of Gods has officially begun. All first-time players will receive the tower's blessing. Kill records in the beginner zone have been reset. Luxurious rewards await the first killers. New players, give it your all and surpass the pioneers. The words make Subai pause. Season 10, so that meant the race had officially started. If that was the case, he had no intention of letting anyone else take the first kill rewards. Not when he held the divine item, the clock of all things. Around him, the nobodies in the beginner zone whisper among themselves. They wonder aloud who will get the first kill this year. None of them dare to dream too big, though. They already believe it will go to one of the 3 great families of the eastern region. Those people were born with silver spoons in their mouths. Some even mentioned seeing the eldest daughter of the Lin family earlier. She was wearing a full legendary set, gear worth tens of thousands, maybe even millions. A complete set could go for tens of millions, and on top of that, she had high-level bodyguards protecting her. Compared to people like that, the ordinary beginners had no chance. So they put the thought out of their minds and go back to chasing rabbits. Meanwhile, Subai keeps mowing down wind serpents one after another. Then ding, a notification congratulates him. He has reached level 2. As the 823rd player in the eastern region to level up, he has been awarded a black iron chest, along with 2 free stat points. Subai nods in satisfaction. Not bad. But then, another system feature unlocks, the ranking system. He checks it and is stunned. So many players had already reached level 2. The top rankers were even closing in on level 3. He quickly realizes why he is behind. He had spent too much time earlier studying the clock of all things after entering the tower. That little delay had cost him a spot on the leaderboard. Still, he isn't worried. He tells himself that the others only have a temporary lead. Soon enough, he will be the one standing at the very top. With that thought, he focuses on the black iron chest he just received. He wonders what kind of reward might be waiting for him inside. Subai opened the black iron chest. Inside he found only a basic cloth armor and 30 copper coins. The system then told him to select which gear he wanted to upgrade. Now he had a weapon and some armor. He thought about it. The beginner boss wouldn't hit that hard anyway, so defense didn't matter much. What mattered was damage. He chose to upgrade the dagger. The system asked how many times. The maximum was 8. Each upgrade would cost 50 copper coins. Without hesitation, Subai decided to push it straight to the maximum. 8 upgrades in one go. More than 9 silver coins gone at once. But he could afford it. The stats refreshed. Only the first upgrade improved the base attributes, while the rest just stacked more attack power. Even so, his total attack was now close to 100 points. It was still labeled as excellent grade, yet the numbers were already on par with rare weapons. Subai knew then, this mysterious watch really was a legendary treasure. With this tool in hand, it was time to step onto the first floor of the Tower of God. The beginner boss, however, only spawned 10 times on the first day. Whoever killed it earned the right to enter the tower. Even teams could only secure a limited number of spots. And the first killer? Almost guaranteed entry. Subai hurried to the boss's location. But when he arrived, he heard the clash of steel and the roars of goblins. Someone was already there. He couldn't believe it. The first kill was supposed to be his. On the field, a group was fighting goblins. Their equipment shone with excellent grade glow. At the center was a young woman in full rare gear, Lin Yuchan, the Lin family's miss. Compared to her, Subai's dagger suddenly felt worthless. Lin Yuchan called for her second faction to regroup. She told the third to push forward and ordered her men to distribute potions quickly. They followed without hesitation. One of her aides told her they would soon reach the first floor at this pace. But Yuchan reminded him not to underestimate the Li and Bo families, since multiple routes could lead to the plains. Then her gaze landed on Subai. Her men noticed him as well. They asked who he was. Subai explained that he was on his own, not part of any team, and that they could continue their fight while he passed through. The Lin family members exchanged doubtful looks. For their battalion, fully equipped, it had taken half an hour just to clear the forest. Yet this young man had arrived alone? It didn't add up. Her aide warned Yuchan that Subai was trying to use their fight as cover to slip past and steal the boss. Yuchan immediately gave new orders. She told her 3rd battalion to cut potion use and instructed them to coordinate with the 4th to stop Subai with everything they had. She wasn't about to let anyone take her first kill. The soldiers turned toward Subai, ready to block his way. Subai only sighed. To him, they were nothing but a nuisance. Subai frowns and tells them they're already fighting their own monsters, so why bother dragging him into it? The Lin family's assistant only sneers. In his eyes, Subai is just a level 2 rookie. He can't understand why this kid dares to resist. The man orders the soldiers to get rid of Subai quickly. He insists they cannot let the young miss lose her chance at the first kill. The troops rush forward without hesitation. Subai doesn't even feel threatened. Instead, he decides to toy with them for a while. Arrows whistle toward him. With a flick of his dagger, he deflects them all. The motion is so effortless that even Lin Yuchan herself looks stunned. More fighters leap at him, blades flashing. Yet they can't land a single blow. Subai slips through their formation, dodging with ease, and takes them down one after another. The assistant freezes in disbelief. To him, this is impossible. A level 2 rookie shouldn't be able to wipe out trained fighters in an instant. The men falter. Then they retreat. Subai warns them that while they may be stronger than the average rookie, they are still far from enough to bring him down. He moves again, striking with precision. Critical hits land one after another, dropping soldiers before they can react. The assistant blurts out in shock that these are critical hits. He can't process what he's seeing, but then he quickly shouts for everyone to fall back. Even while retreating, he grits his teeth and warns Su-bai not to get too cocky. He asks if Su-bai even knows whom he has angered. Su-bai dismisses him coldly. He tells the man that he doesn't care who they are. Anyone who stands in his way won't walk away unscathed. The threat hits hard. The assistant's face twists with rage. Before he can retort, Lin Yuchan suddenly cuts in. She tells her aide, Zhang Fei, to shut up. Then she looks at Su-bai and calmly suggests that perhaps they should make a deal. Everyone is stunned when Lin Yuchan suggests making a deal. Su-bai narrows his eyes, curious about the details. Yuchan studies him carefully. He arrived alone, yet from the way he fought earlier, he is clearly no ordinary player. She tells him that there can be no understanding without a fight and asks him to name his price. Her assistant, Zhang Fei, looks uneasy, but Yuchan silences him. Delaying their progress in the Tower of Gods would bring real consequences, and she knows very well that Zhang would never be able to shoulder that responsibility. Su-bai finally speaks. He tells them that the matter is settled. He guarantees he won't attack again. In return, they must pay a protection fee based on headcount, 1 silver coin per person. To him, that is a fair price. Zhang explodes in anger, demanding to know if Su-bai is dreaming. But Su-bai only replies coldly that this is the cost of keeping their lives, and asks if anyone has any objections. Once again, Yuchan cuts Zhang off. She accepts Su-bai's demand, but instead offers him 3 gold coins, saying he can consider the rest a token of friendship. She also asks him to add her as a friend. Su-bai then tells her that to add her as a friend, 1 more gold coin is required. To everyone's disbelief, Yuchan agrees. Those behind her clearly dislike the arrangement, but none dare to oppose her decision. Zhang mutters that this stranger is blatantly exploiting the situation. Ignoring him, Yuchan proposes something else. She suggests that Su-bai join them to hunt the beginner area boss together, so they can claim the first kill reward. Su-bai thinks to himself that the first boss in the eastern beginner area must be very important to her. He agrees, but adds a condition. He will lead the group. This pushes Zhang over the edge. He snaps that Su-bai must be dreaming. Lin family elites trained since childhood have no reason to follow a mere level 2 rookie. Su-bai remains firm. If they want to kill the boss, they must follow his orders. Otherwise, he has nothing more to say. He won't let anyone slow him down. Yuchan surprises everyone by agreeing to his demand. Zhang, however, protests again. He reminds her that Su-bai is a stranger and not someone they can trust. But Yuchan dismisses his objection. She tells Su-bai that, while he may move freely, leadership is something she cannot hand over. Su-bai doesn't argue. He simply says that if that is the case, then there is no need to waste more words. He turns to leave. Yuchan calls after him, asking if he doesn't want to reconsider. She offers him 100 gold coins. Su-bai only replies that the first kill reward is worth far more than 100 gold, and he won't let them waste his time. Zhang sneers at his retreating back, saying that this man thinks he can break the world record for the first kill. To Zhang, it is nothing but a fool's dream. Yuchan secretly doubts him. A solo player? Even I can't guarantee success, let alone him. Meanwhile, Su-bai sits by a rock and calmly checks his notifications. Now that he's stacked with wealth, he decides to upgrade his gear immediately. He spends 1,650 silver to skip the waiting time. The silver vanishes, and his weapon shines with new power. His stats climb, HP now over 300. With this, he feels confident enough to face the beginner area boss. Back in the tavern, people gossip. Some comment that this year's rookies seem unusually active, and the first kill of the beginner area will probably be decided soon. The tavern lady wonders aloud whether Yen Nation can hold on to that honor, reminding everyone that last year, their guild held the first kill record up to the 9th floor before being overtaken by a super rookie from the Beacon Nation, an SSS class profession. With a sigh, someone says Yen Nation hasn't seen an SSS rookie since Lin the Eternal Swordsman. If even one appeared this year, it would be a miracle. At the cliff, Su-bai descends quickly. The thought of the first kill burns in his mind. He cannot afford to lose. But ahead, he notices a group already fighting monsters. For a moment, he thinks he's late, but then his sharp senses pick up something. The faint trace of energy concealment powder is a cheap trick, useful only against monsters of similar level. Against high-level bosses, it's worthless. Still, it's costly, worth millions, and seeing it here tells him the enemies are well-funded. Dozens of fighters struggle against mobs while their leader watches from behind. Su-bai is relieved. The boss hasn't been provoked yet. If it had, he would have to wait an hour for respawn. One of the group members notices him and asks if they should stop the newcomer. Their leader, Wang Zishi, the legitimate son of the Wang family, one of the 3 great families of the eastern region, waves him off. To him, Subai is just a lone wolf. Lee Yura, daughter of another great family, sneers that this fool dares to covet what isn't his. But the sneers fade when Subai ignores everyone and heads straight for the boss. The Goblin King roars to life as Subai closes in, a notification flashing in his vision. Beginner area boss, Goblin King. The others wait for the slaughter, certain the monster will crush him. Wang Zishi smirks, saying there's no need to interfere, and Lee Yura agrees, dismissing him as trash. Then the fight begins. The Goblin King swings his massive club, but Subai slips past with ease. His dagger flashes, landing a critical hit that tears away over 100 HP in one strike. The king howls in pain, but Subai calls him nothing more than a barking dog and continues. Another critical hit slashes across the monster's chest, another 100 HP gone in seconds. The crowd stares in disbelief. The Goblin King's weak points, chest, lower back, and eyes, are being exploited flawlessly. They can't believe what they're witnessing. A level 2 rookie standing toe-to-toe with the area's strongest monster, parrying its blows and landing devastating counters. Even Lee Yura is stunned. None of them expected this lone stranger to last more than a few seconds, let alone overwhelm the boss. The lady turns to Brother GC and asks what is wrong. Brother GC replies that he cannot understand how Subai is using Flash Step, since all 3 of his attacks have been critical hits, something that should not even be possible. Flash Step is a high-level technique that even top players rarely manage to use, so this sight leaves everyone unsettled. They begin debating what to do next, wondering if they should take him down right away. But Brother GC tells them not to rush. No matter how strong Subai looks, there is no way he can finish the boss in a single strike. He reminds them of the mantis and cicada proverb, saying that they should wait until Subai is nearly at his limit, then strike when the opportunity is perfect. Meanwhile, Subai continues the fight with the Goblin King. He tells himself that defeating this opponent will be no harder than chopping vegetables. The monster swings at him again, but Subai answers with another precise slash that lands as a critical hit. He remarks mockingly that screaming will not help the Goblin King, and then strikes at its kidneys. The monster howls in pain, but this time the roar sounds different. Subai quickly realizes the boss might be summoning reinforcements. The other spectators soon notice it too. Just when they thought the battlefield was almost cleared, more goblins begin to appear. The lady points out that the boss has summoned goblin guards. Brother GC immediately orders everyone to switch into assault formation and break through the encirclement. His teammates rally behind him, encouraging each other to give it their all. The lady, frustrated, wonders aloud if these endless goblin guards are appearing because of Subai. Brother GC ignores her complaint and gives another command, telling everyone to clear a path for him. His teammates respond with determination, saying they will get him through and urging him to take the lead. Another member adds that they will carry him forward, all shouting encouragement for Brother Wang to push ahead. In his own thoughts, Brother GC believes there is still time. With Subai's damage output, there is no way he could possibly deplete the boss's remaining health instantly. By using a magic scroll, Brother GC is certain he can secure victory and claim the first kill in the eastern zone for himself. He vows not to let anyone else steal that glory. But Subai also sees through their scheme. He understands that they are planning to strike at the last possible moment to steal his achievement. He notices that they have even brought along a mid-grade magic scroll, proof that this is indeed a wealthy rival trying to overpower him. Still, Subai feels a surge of defiance and tells himself that he wants to see them try. At that moment, Brother GC declares that Subai will be destroyed along with the boss. He then activates the mid-grade flame burst scroll, unleashing a massive explosion across the battlefield. Everyone around begins cheering, believing that their leader has finally done it. They praise Brother GC as awesome and assume the victory is his. But the supposed winner himself grows uneasy. He starts to worry when the system remains silent. Then, with growing dread, he blurts out why the system hasn't announced the result yet. At that very moment, the notification appears. It declares that the East Zone beginner town boss has been defeated by player Subai and encourages everyone else to keep working hard. The news hits the entire crowd like a thunderbolt. Their excitement collapses into shock and disbelief. Many cannot understand how this outcome is even possible. Even Brother GC himself mutters that it makes no sense for Subai to one-shot the boss. Subai, standing over the fallen Goblin King, explains coldly. He tells them they are fools for not knowing that fatal wounds can stack damage. He reveals that he deliberately targeted the Goblin King's critical weakness and finished it off when it had only 5% health remaining. He adds that he could have ended the fight earlier, when the boss dropped to 20%, but he waited. Instead, he let the others drool over victory until Wang GC wasted his mid-grade scroll, and only then did he deliver the final blow. With a sigh, Subai remarks that it must hurt to think about losing such an expensive item, one worth thousands of gold, for nothing. For Subai, this is more than just a victory. He has been waiting for the chance to teach these wealthy player bullies a lesson, those who rely on throwing money around to crush free-to-play players. Now they are the ones humiliated, left only to wait for the boss to respawn. With a smirk, he tells calls them farewell and walks away. The announcement quickly spreads to the tavern, where players are already buzzing with talk about someone defeating the East Zone's Goblin King. The news shocks them further when they realize the first kill did not go to one of the three great clans. Speculation rises immediately. Some wonder if the East Zone has a hidden noble Sioux family behind this mysterious player. Others insist that whoever claimed the kill must be a serious contender, perhaps even someone from a secret clan. A few consider that it could really be Subai, but another player quickly dismisses the thought. He argues that Subai is just an orphan and could never surpass the three great families, suggesting it must be another person with the same name. Yuchan, upon seeing the notification herself, is left speechless. She lashes out in frustration and orders her team to advance to the settlement at full speed. Her command is met with an immediate, unified response of agreement from her people. Meanwhile, Brother Wong's anger burns hotter than ever, now fully directed at Subai. 9:16 p.m. The lady turns to Brother GC and asks what they should do now. Brother replies that everyone should rest and regroup, and in an hour they will farm the next boss. But before his words can settle, a portal opens in front of them. Out steps Yuchan, her expression burning with anger. She demands to know if they intend to take the second boss as well, snapping that she never gave them permission. Just then, a notification appears before Subai. It announces that he is the first player in the East Zone to defeat the Goblin King, granting him access to the Tower of God's reward silver chest. Another line follows immediately, declaring that he is also among the first 100 players globally to unlock the same chest. Two gleaming silver chests materialize in front of him. Subai decides to open them before moving on, reasoning that rare gear might lie inside. The first chest grants him rare boots called One Step Away, along with 10 silver coins. The second chest provides a small XP potion and 30 more silver coins. He inspects the boots and notes that they grant a valuable speed boost, though the level requirement is still beyond his current reach. As he organizes the rewards, another thought strikes him. Since he secured the first boss kill, the Season 10 Global Tower leaderboard should now be open. He pulls it up and checks his standing. His name appears at rank 98. It's a surprisingly low placement, considering he left the beginner village less than 2 hours ago and already killed the Goblin King. He realizes that the top players in other regions must have defeated their bosses nearly an hour earlier. Clearly, wealthy and powerful competitors are not limited to the East Zone. They are scattered across the world. Determined not to fall behind, Subai immediately consumes the small XP potion, gaining a temporary 10% boost to experience gain. He steels himself, thinking that he has no time to waste. 9:16 p.m. With the buff active, he prepares to grind as quickly as possible. Turning back to the portal that has opened, he steps forward without hesitation. He is eager to see what awaits inside, the first dungeon of this season's Tower of Gods. Subai steps into the Tower of God's first floor and immediately recognizes it as the Dark Maze. The tower's beginner zone dungeons are infamous for their variety, each one entirely different in theme, layout, and enemies. Dark Maze, though only an entry-level floor, is notorious for being mid to high difficulty. For most new players, it is a death trap, but Subai remembers this place. Every path, every turn, every hidden dead end. He had memorized it all from his years in the game. The maze hasn't changed. The same patterns still apply, and that gives him a major advantage. Before he can take more than a few steps, however, a pale hand bursts through the ground. A gaunt figure drags itself up, skin stretched over bones, eyes glowing faintly. A notification identifies it as a ghoul. Subai recalls their traits: fast, aggressive, and lethal in groups. If they manage to encircle him, he's done for. He reacts instantly, activating Flash Step to close the distance in a blur and driving his blade into its skull. The critical strike drops the monster instantly, but another ghoul erupts from the floor right behind him. Without hesitation, Subai pivots, strikes again, and lands another decisive blow. This one also falls. The chain of kills, combined with the Goblin King's earlier XP, pushes his level up to 3. Encouraged, he presses deeper into the maze. Soon, he reaches a fork where 2 glowing inscription tablets await, one blue, one red. The blue tablet signifies an easy route, while the red marks the hard path. Subai doesn't hesitate. Harder paths mean greater rewards, and he chooses red. The tablet vanishes, and a massive door materializes in front of him, thrumming with ominous energy. Meanwhile, far away in the Yen Kingdom, the Yeo Dynasty Guild headquarters is abuzz with reports. In the guild's conference room, a woman delivers her update. Young Master Junkai's progress has been smooth so far. Sitting at the head of the table, guild leader Zhou Wang listens with a calm but stern expression. He reminds her that an early lead is meaningless, that the title of Rookie King only belongs to the one who seizes the final prize. The woman smiles politely, insisting that with Zhou Wang's careful arrangements, young Master Junkai is all but guaranteed victory this season. But her words ignite the leader's fury. He roars at her, calling her a fool, warning that the rookie king is not a title that can be inherited or bought. Every past king carved their name with blood and survival against overwhelming odds. One of the guild's assistants bows his head, agreeing with the leader's criticism. Zhou Wang exhales slowly, temper cooling. He admits softly that he only hopes his son will not disappoint him. Back in the maze, Subai's situation grows harsher. Ghouls continue clawing up from the floor, their shrieks echoing through the darkness. They try to encircle him, lunging from every direction, but Subai stays sharp, cutting them down one by one before the trap can close in around him. So far, Subai's critical hits have been carrying him well. In less than half an hour, his kill count has stacked up, and the tower's generous experience rates keep pushing him forward. After finally clearing a room full of ghouls, something unusual catches his eye, a gray tablet half hidden against the wall. It marks a hidden chamber. Picking the hard route has paid off, and this is his bonus. He decides to go inside. The moment he enters, more ghouls surge out of the ground, far more than before. Their shrieks echo in the chamber as they swarm from every side. He counts quickly. There must be at least 50. With no hesitation, he dives into battle, slashing through them in a blur. Flash step becomes his rhythm, his blade carving critical strikes as bodies collapse one after another. Half an hour later, the final ghoul falls. Subai is breathing hard, but the notification flashing before his eyes makes it worthwhile. He is leveled up to 4 and gained 2 free attribute points. With the hidden room cleared, he is awarded an S-rank battle evaluation, a perfect clear. The tower grants him 1,000 experience points and a stack of gold. His balanced attribute growth makes him grin. It is exactly what he was aiming for. Now he feels ready. The time has come to challenge the floor's boss. Checking the global rankings, he sees Zhou Junkai sitting at number 1, Lin Mengxian at number 2. Yet neither name shows a boss clear. Subai takes it as a challenge. If no one else has claimed the first clear, then he will. He pushes open the door to the boss chamber. Inside are rows of towering statues, all frozen in place, surrounding a massive, goat-headed figure seated upon a throne in the center. The floor 1 boss, the Minotaur, level 5, 55,000 health points, and infamous for punishing careless adventurers. Around him, ghouls begin to rise, moving to intercept. Subai wastes no time. He uses flash step to cut through the fodder instantly, his focus locked solely on the boss. The Minotaur rises slowly, silent and imposing, axe in hand. Just like in the game, it exudes an oppressive aura. Subai hurls his sword at it, testing its defenses, but the boss does not fall for the trick. A thunderous roar follows. A violent wind blasts across the chamber, shaking the floor and rattling the walls. Even the statues along the sides begin to move, stone dragons tearing free from their pedestals to join the fight. Instead of fear, Subai feels his blood pumping. The fight has finally become worthy. The Minotaur swings its axe in a devastating arc. Subai leaps high, using a gap step to avoid the crushing strike, and drives a critical blow against the beast's shoulder. The hit lands, but the boss's massive health bar barely shifts. Only a sliver disappears, a mere 150 points gone. And the real battle has only just begun. The Minotaur lashes out, its massive axe slashing towards Subai. He sidesteps with flash gap, unfazed, and turns the momentum against the boss and its stone minions. The beast stomps the ground, triggering a glowing magic circle. Flames burst outward as the Minotaur activates its signature skill, Bull Charge, and rushes forward with incredible speed. Subai is caught off guard by how quickly the skill has been used, but he regains his composure instantly. He vaults into the air with flash step, avoiding the charge, and drives his blade down in a vicious strike. The hit lands cleanly, this time tearing away a full 1,000 points of the Minotaur's health. The statues surrounding the chamber close in, sensing an opening while Subai is locked against the boss. But he cuts through them in a blur, turning their ambush into free experience. A new notification flashes, level up, level 5, plus 2 attribute points gained. Without hesitation, he equips a new pair of boots, boosting his speed to terrifying levels. Now he's everywhere at once, darting across the arena faster than the boss can react. The Minotaur roars and swings, but every attack misses as Subai circles it, striking from all directions. The monster grows frantic, unable to lock him down. When he suddenly appears behind it, the Minotaur tries to counter by entering its berserk state. But Subai anticipated it. With its stamina burning too quickly, the effect fizzles out before the boss can land a decisive blow. Subai seizes the moment. A deep stab tears through its hide, inflicting heavy bleeding, and its health bar plummets. The Minotaur is left staggering, an easy target. Subai presses in mercilessly, delivering a final critical strike that rips away 3,000 HP in one blow. The towering beast collapses onto the stone floor, its body dissolving into motes of light. The tower's system flares with a congratulatory message: Boss Minotaur slain. Tower of Gods, Floor 1 cleared. His reward, an entry ticket to Floor 2. The system congratulates Subai once more. A notification announces him as the first player of Season 10 to slay Floor 1's boss, granting him a golden treasure chest, a beginner's experience orb, and gold coins. For him, this pace is acceptable, neither too slow nor rushed. In the past, he would have cleared a floor in half an hour just to move on. But this season, he knows resources and experience are worth more than raw speed. Elsewhere, a massive explosion rocks the battlefield of the Zhou dynasty. Junkai, armed with his father's perfect-grade weapon, the 10,000 Calamities Annihilation Cannon, remarks on its destructive power. The weapon is brutally effective, though costly to use. Confident, he prepares to continue his bombardment until a sudden notification freezes him mid-action. The system declares that player Subai has broken the first clear record, officially clearing Floor 1 and securing the Yen Kingdom's first victory in the Tower of Gods. Junkai is stunned, his disbelief quickly boiling into rage. To him, the idea that someone managed to clear in under an hour, 58 minutes and 59 seconds is absurd. He insists it must be cheating. Word spreads quickly across the global leaderboards. Subai's name flashes to the top, not only for the tower but also for the beginner zone rankings. Players everywhere are shaken. Many question whether such a time is even humanly possible, while others marvel at the appearance of a newcomer this strong. Comparisons are immediately drawn to Li Jiangxian, the last terrifying prodigy the Yen Kingdom had produced long ago. Excitement spreads. This year's Rookie King title might belong to the Yen Kingdom once again. At the headquarters, the kingdom's leader studies the leaderboard, though his assistant tries to calm him, reminding him that young Master Zhou's time was still among the best in history. The leader remains furious. For him, there is no consolation in second place. A loss is a loss. Still, the assistant reminds him there are 9 more floors to go. If Junkai manages to complete his job transfer early, there is still a path to overturn the standings and seize the Rookie King crown. The leader orders an investigation into the identity of the record-breaking newcomer. The assistant immediately agrees, hurrying to carry out the command. Elsewhere, Yuchan sends a direct message to Subai. She first questions if he was the one who interfered with Wang Jiqi and Li Yuran's boss kill, then acknowledges that he has truly seized the world's first clear record. Finally, she offers an invitation. If he is interested, the Lin family would gladly welcome him as an ally. Standing near the portal, even she admits that they had underestimated him. Meanwhile, Subai stands before the golden treasure chest, the kind that only appears for first boss kills and major events. As the very first chest of the season, he knows it must contain something extraordinary. When the lid opens, golden light floods the chamber. Inside lies a perfect-grade item, the golden hoe. Subai stares in surprise, wondering if this could be the legendary version he once heard about, an item of immense value in the later stages of the game. Alongside it rests a beginner's experience orb. Using the orb immediately rewards him with 60,000 experience points, pushing his level up to 6. Without hesitation, he spends 3,280 silver to skip upgrade times, enhancing his equipment on the spot. The stat increases feels satisfying, and the temptation makes him upgrade again, laughing as his power continues to surge. With preparations complete, Subai steps toward the portal. He sets himself a small but ambitious goal: clear the first 10 floors within 24 hours. The scene shifts to the Naka Desert, where he materializes on floor 2. His trial progress is currently at 0. A timer begins to count down, 1 minute until the dungeon officially starts. The rules here are simple but grueling. Survive 10 waves of monster invasions. Too slow, Subai thinks. If he wants to maintain his momentum, he'll need to find a way to force the monsters to spawn faster. Just as the countdown continues, a sudden threat emerges. A sawtooth lizard appears right behind Subai, but it isn't alone. Dozens more follow, crawling out to surround him. Even faced with this sight, Subai only feels impatience. The pace is too slow, the waves waste his time. If he lets them drag on, his first clear record will slip away. So instead of waiting, he takes the initiative. His blade flashes, every strike landing a critical hit, and in moments the entire group is reduced to corpses. The system timer keeps ticking. Normally, surviving the wave should take 10 minutes, but Subai finishes in less than 2. Another surge of monsters pours out from the portal, but he dismisses them as still too slow. To accelerate the trial, he activates one step away. Since fate had given him such a glorious restart, he vows to push beyond every limit he once knew. Each monster falls to a single blow, and he declares that he will break all the records from his past life. Moving with relentless speed, he tears through Wave 2, Wave 3, Wave 4, and Wave 5 without pause. At last, he steps into the boss chamber of floor 2. Waiting there is the little werewolf, growling with challenge. Subai hardly considers it a threat. He simply wants it to die quickly and not waste his time. With one strike of steel flash, the creature collapses. The clear notification rings out, awarding him a Floor 2 entry ticket to proceed to the next level. Laughing to himself, Subai turns toward the reward waiting at the center of the chamber, another golden treasure chest. He opens it eagerly, and as expected of a perfect clear chest, brilliant light spills forth. Inside rests a piece of perfect grade equipment, linked purple gold armor. He upgrades it once, careful not to push the level too high, or else he won't even be able to wear it yet. The cost is steep, draining a good chunk of silver, but when the upgrade completes, the armor's glow eclipses everything else in his inventory. As expected of perfect-grade gear, it radiates unmatched quality, making every other item seem second-rate by comparison. Using the Novice Experience Orb, he gains 50,000 experience. A notification pops up congratulating him for reaching level 7 and awarding free attribute points. Not bad at all. Subai figures this should be enough to handle floor 3, so he moves forward. But just like that, over 100 gold coins vanish. He realizes he really needs to start earning faster. Stepping into the portal, he enters floor 3, the Silken Cavern. A huge horde of monsters rushes toward him. Rats, massive spiders, all kinds of creepy crawlies. Subai laughs, calling them little cuties as he slashes through them instantly. A few other players are battling a giant boss here, but Subai barely glances. He tests it with his 10,000 Annihilation Cannon, noting the boss isn't much of a challenge. Notifications confirm his success. He's congratulated for slaying the Minotaur and clearing floor 1. He receives a floor 2 entry ticket. His clear time is 2 hours, 25 minutes, 30 seconds. Subai exhales, telling himself it was intense but manageable since the boss's rage mode is limited. Another notification delivers a rare weapon, the exquisite long sword, and he laughs at the reward. He notices a world announcement stating that player Subai has set the first clear record for Tower of God Floor 2, a win for the Yen Kingdom. Subai notes the clear time, 29 minutes, 42 seconds. He thinks it's insane, then admits to himself that he's still too weak and wonders who else might be out there. He then tackles a giant spider, explaining to himself that it's time to show what true speed leveling looks like. Another notification pops up, congratulating him for setting the first clear record on floor 3 in 25 minutes, 45 seconds, another victory for the Yen Kingdom. On Tower of Gods floor 4, the Crimson Flame Desert, Subai is already swarming through a horde of reptile-style monsters. Despite the chaos, he sets the first clear record, finishing in 22 minutes and 23 seconds. On floor 5, the Misty Swamp, he moves even faster, taking down the monsters and clearing the floor in 19 minutes, 58 seconds. News spreads like wildfire. Everywhere, people talk about Subai's insane speed. 3 floors cleared in barely over an hour. It's unreal. Whispers float around. Is he a genius? A monster? A god? Some claim he just gets stronger the higher he climbs, while others wonder if maybe the rookie floors this season are unusually easy. Someone brings up Zhou Junkai, the Dynasty Guild Master's son, noting that he heard Junkai brought the 10,000 Annihilation Cannon into floor 1. Another confirms it, explaining the cannon vanished from the weapon rankings, probably melted down into a newbie weapon. Yet everyone wonders if Subai somehow snagged an epic-grade weapon for himself. Later, in a strategy group meeting, a cluster of Yen Kingdom elites stands around. Pai Lingxiu comments on how intriguing Subai is, while Nancian adds that his background is a complete mystery. No parents, no backing, and at school, his combat class scores were unremarkable. Pai Lingxiu wonders aloud if Subai might have discovered something extraordinary in the tower. Nancian points out that even for the first-tier strategy group, epic-grade gear is incredibly rare. Only about 10 exist across the entire Yen Kingdom. She teases that Subai must have some nerve, being one of the top 5 assassins and already coveting a kid's weapon. Another member notes it's easy for her to say, considering she wields the silk-tasseled Fire Phoenix Spear, while most in the group don't even have a full set of perfect-grade gear. The discussion escalates until the strategy group captain, Su Kong, steps in, frustrated, telling everyone to calm down. Captain Kong tells the group that if Subai comes out without pulling an S-rank or higher job transfer crystal, they should try to buy his epic weapon. But if he does pull one, they'll invite him for a strategy group trial. One of the members cautions the captain, saying the second-tier team is essentially a reserve squad, and that newcomers should start in the rookie squads first. Only if they perform well should they move up to the third-tier team. Kong interrupts, saying that the rookie squads these past 2 years haven't produced much. If Subai can become rookie king, there's no harm in cultivating him. The member opens his mouth to argue, but Kong simply walks off, declaring the matter settled. Nancian is reminded to worry about her own progress. If she can't make her second transfer this month, she might roll down to the second-tier team. Meanwhile, through another portal, Subai checks his character attributes. He notes that his luck isn't bad, bad. Every level up gives him 8 random stats, but upgrading gear is draining him. Each upgrade now costs about 13 gold, and with only 300, he can't afford many. Clearing floor 10 will net him roughly 500 gold, and claiming the Rookie King title adds another 200. Still, he worries about where he'll get more money. He's basically broke. Then he remembers Lin Yuchan's messages. She'd asked if he was the one who sniped Wang Jiasai's boss, congratulated him on the first clear record, and offered cooperation. The Lin family is willing to welcome him as a guest retainer, even offering a 20 million annual contract, later raised to 30 million. They'd already transferred 100,000 in real currency to his account, calling it a red packet in case the deal didn't work out and apologizing for chasing him earlier. After reviewing the messages, Subai decides it's time to do some business. He messages Lin Yuchan, asking if she's interested. She immediately replies, asking about the price of job transfer crystals. Subai sets the rates. D rank, 1 gold, C rank, 5 gold. Anything above C, negotiable. Lin Yuchan notes that this is far below market price, but agrees anyway, saying she'll take them all. Subai tells her he has 13 for now, with more to come, and gives her 6 days to raise funds. They'll trade once he exits the tower. Lin Yuchan confirms. Subai chuckles to himself, noting just how much power the rich wield. With the deal set, he turns back to leveling, moving toward another portal to enter floor 6. The 6th floor is Wild Oasis. Among the Grand Canyons, a few wyverns circle the skies. Subai looks around and says that Wild Oasis is a leap in difficulty. He explains that the boss here is a roaming type with no fixed spawn point, meaning luck will play a big role. Luckily, he has a flying dragon crossbow upgraded to +10. It's rare grade and has impressive attack power. He equips it and remarks that it's a good thing he prepared long-range gear in advance. Still, he admits he didn't bring enough arrows, so he will need to use them sparingly if he wants to keep up his pace. With the great grade crossbow in hand, he moves forward. Soon, a monster comes flying straight at him. For Subai, this is the perfect chance to test his new weapon. The creature is down before it realizes what's happening. One after another, the monsters try to strike from different angles, but his bolts hit with sharp accuracy, taking them out instantly. When a few sneak up behind him, Subai reacts immediately. He spins and lands precise shots in a full sweep, clearing them as well. Once the area is quiet again, he nods in approval. He says that the weapon's effect is solid, and the arrows can even be reused if he's careful. That should be enough to last him at least 2 or 3 more levels. Feeling satisfied, he adds that he will sell it to Lin Yuchan when the opportunity comes. He then recalls that the boss should be wandering north along the water source. He follows the stream and hears the sound of rushing water. Smiling, he says that it must be the river. But instead of the boss, he finds a group of amphibious monsters waiting for him, Murlocs. They are ordinary but dangerous, each at level 9 with 70 attack, 45 defense, and 400 HP. Their skills include bite and fish shoot. The moment they notice him, the fight begins. Before the Murlocs can launch a single attack, Subai's bolts cut them down in rapid succession. The ambush is so sudden that they have no chance to respond. When the last one falls, the loot drops onto the ground, 20 copper coins, and, most importantly, a B-rank job transfer crystal. A system notification prompts him to pick it up. He laughs to himself and says that the rumors about this floor's high drop rate seem to be true. Without wasting time, he lists the crystal for bidding, curious to see how will the response be. Lin sees the trade request and remarks that, as expected of Subai, he is very efficient. She offers 10 million in cash, along with 100 gold coins as the highest bid, plus another 1 million cash. Subai agrees, and Lin responds that they have a deal. With the transaction done, Subai keeps on hunting monsters. As he continues, he notes that this way of making money is not slow at all. Then he hears something different. This time, he is sure the sound belongs to the boss. He heads toward it and comes face to face with the Oasis fish monster, Ellie. At first sight, he observes that the creature looks quite unique. With a confident grin, he mutters that he will play with it. But the boss has no intention of playing. It roars furiously and charges. Subai reacts instantly. He leaps upward with his flash gap skill, fires his crossbow midair, and lands 3 critical hits, each inflicting over 1,000 damage. Enraged, the boss hurls its weapon, but Subai dodges effortlessly. He taunts the monster, saying it is still as stupid as ever and has made no progress. He then unleashes another barrage, this time slamming critical hits straight into its face, dealing over 3,000 damage in total. A system notification chimes, congratulating him on defeating the Oasis fish monster and clearing the 6th floor of the Tower of God. He receives an admission ticket to the 7th floor. Since he is also the first player to defeat the Oasis fish monster in Season 10, he is rewarded with 1 gold chest, 1 novice experience orb, and 50 gold coins. His clearance time is recorded at 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 59 seconds, setting a new first clear record for the 7th floor. He also earns the title Murloc Hunter. Though he admits the level took more time than expected, he feels the extra rewards are worth it. 5 silver treasure chests appear around him. One after another, the notifications inform him of the loot: 10 small blood replenishers, 5 gold coins, 50 silver coins, and a piece of excellent grade equipment, the Fish Demon Gauntlets. He also acquires 10 small experience potions and 30 copper points. Looking over the rewards, he mutters that the drops are not extraordinary but still better than nothing. Examining the Fish Demon Gauntlets, he decides to upgrade them. After enhancing them to +8, he equips the gauntlets and notes that their properties are impressive enough to use for now. With his new gear in place, Subai heads toward the portal leading to the 7th floor. He sets his sights on a clear goal: to conquer the first 10 levels within 20 hours. He tells himself that if he can finish within a day, the Rookie of the Year title will surely be his. But just as he prepares for the next step, a global announcement resounds across the tower. It congratulates player Lin Mengswan for obtaining the S-level profession, Berserker. The news surprises Subai. He winces and admits to himself that he hadn't expected the first S-level player to be Lin Mengswan, wondering how that guy managed to appear so quickly. People everywhere start talking about Lin Mengswan. Many wonder whose eldest daughter she is, since the Lin family from Beijing already has a Lin Mengswan who married Li Jianxian. That Li Jianxian is an invincible figure, ranked #1 in the world. When the news spreads, most players can't believe their eyes. From their perspective, Lin Mengswan has the potential not only to become Rookie of the Year, but maybe even surpass future competitors. After all, someone who climbs to the very top can sometimes outshine even the current first place. If even the second-ranked player can't deal with such a person, then what hope do the rest have? The shock grows when people realize this Lin Mengswan is actually Li Jianxian's future daughter-in-law. That connection makes her rise even more intimidating, because it means Li Jianxian's power and influence will likely back her up. Still, it feels impossible. Subai has already reached the 7th floor, yet she hasn't cleared past the 3rd. But with her pre-job change completed, her combat power will increase dramatically. By the time she reaches level 10, her strength will be undeniable. Some players speculate further. One woman points out that Li Jianxian must have prepared big tricks for her, because there's no way he wouldn't. Another guy agrees, adding that even the king of Zhou handed down his weapons to his son. Meanwhile, someone checks the ranking list. It shows Subai in 1st place, Lin Mengswan in 2nd, and Zhou Junkai in 3rd. Zhou Junkai himself grows irritated as he stares at the board. Muttering to himself, he says it's fine to be behind for now. Once they all reach the 5th floor, he'll make them suffer. Back inside the tower, the 7th floor reveals itself as the Dark Castle. To most, the monsters here are terrifying, but to Subai, they're nothing more than piles of old bones. He remembers their weak spots perfectly and keeps landing critical hits, clearing enemies with ease. It looks like even this floor won't slow him down for long. Elsewhere, on the 4th floor, the Scarlet Desert, Lin Mengswan is pushing herself hard. She refuses to lose to anyone. Even though she has just gained the Berserker rank, she knows she must push past Subai if she wants to secure her place at the top. Zhou Junkai finally reaches the Tower of God's 5th floor, the Misty Swamp. Laughing proudly, he declares that with the Fate Stone fragment, he can finally change his job. A notification soon confirms it. He has obtained an SS-level job change crystal and successfully transferred to the rare SS rank Gunner class. But while Zhou is celebrating his breakthrough, Subai is already far ahead. He's battling through the Tower of God's 8th floor, the Abyss of Pain. The grim Reaper-like monsters that lurk here don't stand a chance. Subai keeps landing critical hits, shattering their bones one after another. He even mocks them, laughing as he points out how useless they are since they're nothing more than bone monsters. At this point, only 2 more floors remain before he reaches his goal. Meanwhile, Lin Mengswan, holding 2nd place, is still stuck on the 6th floor. Determined, she tells herself that she will catch up to him no matter what. But fighting the monsters here is no easy task. She realizes she's wasted too much time in the oasis and pushes herself harder, desperate to close the gap. By now, Subai has already entered the 9th floor, Nightmare Town. The place disgusts him. The monsters, the atmosphere, everything feels rotten. He grumbles about how he doesn't even want to stay here longer than necessary, so he rushes forward, clearing enemies as quickly as possible. While Lin Mengswan struggles her way into the 7th floor, Subai pushes straight into the 10th Nightmare platform. There, he finally comes face to face with the floor boss, Nightmare Harms. Subai doesn't waste time. He calls it the Little Nightmare and says this is the final hurdle standing between him and the Rookie King title. The monster roars back, unwilling to tolerate his mockery. glory. But Subai isn't interested in playing around. He charges in, striking directly at its kidneys, forcing the boss to stagger. Nightmare Harms tries to grab him, threatening punishment for daring to desecrate the Nightmare's domain. Subai just scoffs, kicking its hand away in midair. He mocks the boss, saying that trick didn't work before and won't work now, before finishing with a ruthless strike, telling the monster its rightful place is in hell, not standing in front of him. With one massive strike, Subai finally takes down the boss. The monster lets out a pitiful cry, insisting that nightmares are supposed to be invincible and wondering how it could possibly be defeated by a mere young man. Almost instantly, a wave of notifications fills Subai's vision. He is congratulated for breaking the first kill record, clearing the 10th floor of the Tower of God, and securing yet another victory for the Yen Kingdom players. His clear time is recorded at 54 minutes and 23 seconds. The system also announces that he is the very first player this season to conquer the 10th floor. As a reward, he receives a random SSS-level job transfer crystal and, at last, the long-awaited Rookie King title. The title boosts monster hunting experience by 100%, passively increases all attributes by 20, and remains valid until the start of the next season. Subai can't help but feel delighted. He remarks to himself how he has finally achieved both the SSS-level crystal and the Rookie King title, something he never managed to obtain even after clearing 999 levels in his previous life. Looking ahead, he notices the line of gleaming gold treasure chests waiting for him. He decides to open 5 at once, hoping for something worthwhile. From the first, he is congratulated for obtaining the rare-grade weapon, the White Tiger Sword. However, he dismisses it as underwhelming, noting that its attributes aren't really suited for his build. The next chest grants him a lost treasure map, which excites him. He reflects on how useful treasure maps can be, since with enough luck, they may lead to perfect-grade equipment. Another chest rewards him with a rare-grade energy shield, followed by a light effect stone. He acknowledges that while the shield isn't particularly useful for him, the stone is valuable, as it allows equipment to be hidden and prevents unnecessary trouble. Finally, he draws the perfect grade equipment Fire Dragon's Fist. This catch immediately grabs his attention, and he quickly tries it on. He notes that the stats on the gloves are close to epic level, and the flashy movements created when wielding them are impressive. He feels confident that this weapon will make it much easier to deal with tougher monsters moving forward. Satisfied, he opens up his stat window to review his current progress. His profile shows: name, Subai. Level, 10, cannot be upgraded yet. Occupation, not yet changed. Strength, 80+8. Agility, 80+8. Physical, 80+8. Spirit, 80+8. Health, 880. Constitution multiplied by 10. Subai checks his stat window once more. His magic value is 880, calculated from spirit multiplied by 10. His physical attack comes out at 176, strength multiplied by 2, while his magic attack is also 176, spirit multiplied by 2. His equipment slots look stacked. The Clock of All Things, a supreme artifact, Fire Dragon Fist +1, perfect grade, Chain Purple Gold Armor +1, perfect grade, Flying Dragon Crossbow +1, perfect grade, Exquisite Dagger +8, excellent grade, and one step away, rare grade. His constitution sits at 10 times the base, and to top it off, he also has the Fire Dragon Belt +1, perfect grade, Chain Purple Gold Tube +1, perfect grade, Flying Dragon Crossbow +10, and an Exquisite Lantern Sword +8, excellent grade. Looking at all this, he grins and tells himself that, with these stats, upgrading through the Clock of All Things will turn his punch into something deadly. He then decides to clear out the remaining 30 or so silver treasure chests, mostly to exchange for money. The notifications keep rolling in: congratulations for receiving exquisite swords, an iron sword, moon earrings, 10 small experience potions, 5 gold coins, and even a pair of dark green leather boots. Suddenly, the announcements start booming across the server. The first declares that in the 10th season, player Subai has become the first to clear the 10th floor of the Tower of God, and has officially been awarded the title of Rookie King. Another announcement follows, confirming that Subai cleared the first 10 floors in just 17 hours, 2 minutes, and 34 seconds, completely shattering the historical record. For this, he is rewarded with yet another random SSS-level job transfer crystal. Everywhere in the Eastern District, Xinqing townspeople lose their minds over the news. Some shout in disbelief that an SSS-level crystal has appeared, noting it is only the 10th one since the Tower of God was first established. Others remind each other that the last SSS-level warrior from the Yen Nation was Li Jinxian, now ranked number 1 in the world. Crowds even start praying, asking for blessings upon the Yen Nation. Inside a conference hall, the atmosphere is no calmer. Leaders scramble inevitable as the captain demands every bit of information on Subai. He orders Pei Lingxiu to follow up immediately, making sure their team engages him as soon as he leaves the novice area, warning not to let any other squad get ahead. When Pei Lingxiu cautiously mentions that proper recruitment should involve offering conditions, the captain cuts her off sharply. He tells her to forget the negotiations and just use the highest standards of their elite 11th team, pay whatever it takes, recruit him directly into the first-line squad. The captain insists that with Subai on their side, they'll have an SSS-level combatant under their banner. That would put them second only to Li Jinxian's team and elevate their status beyond anyone's reach. Pei Lingxiu finally agrees, privately thinking that the captain is right. She looks forward to shutting down the arrogant mockery they've endured from the 5th and 6th teams once and for all. At the beginner's tavern, people are chatting restlessly. One person brings up how Subai still hasn't changed his job yet. Another agrees, pointing out that to achieve such results without switching classes means his strength is terrifying. A few wonder why he refuses to change jobs at all and ask if he might return to Novice Town. They admit they'd love to see it for themselves. While they are talking, the tavern door suddenly bangs open. The crowd panics and shouts at whoever dares to act so reckless. But when they realize it's Subai carrying an enormous bag, everyone freezes. No one dares to mess with him. Some whisper that he must be insane, certain the boss lady will beat him half to death for barging in like that. Others back the thought, saying anyone foolish enough to tease her usually ends up dead on the spot. To their shock, the tavern lady doesn't get angry at all. Instead, she praises Subai for being efficient and even seems genuinely happy to see him, showing no ill will. Subai then tells her to bring him a cup of falling star. The boss lady laughs softly and says he must be good at drinking, since that recipe is her exclusive specialty. The onlookers grow uneasy, whispering among themselves and wondering just who this guy really is. They cannot understand how the boss lady is tolerating someone who kicked her door open, yet she even praises the harvest he has brought in. She sniffs the bag and, true to her werbeast senses, immediately notices there is something extraordinary inside. Still, she warns him that no matter how sweetly he talks, there will be no discounts, 1 gold a cup and no credit. As Subai drinks, he notices a notification that a cup of falling star increases all attributes by 1 point. The boss lady shakes her head and sighs that he doesn't even appreciate the rarity of what he's consuming, comparing him to a cow chewing on a peony. 11:15 a.m. After finishing, Subai stretches tiredly and tells Sister Dana to arrange a private room upstairs for him since the day has worn him out. Just then, another figure enters and everyone is shocked to see Lin Yuchen walk in. She herself feels relieved, thinking how fortunate it was that she hadn't escalated their earlier conflict. Otherwise, she fears the outcome would not have been good. Subai greets her casually, saying he had been expecting her. Lin Chuan, standing beside her, urges her to check the goods. When Lin Yuchen looks inside the bag, she is stunned. She had not imagined it would be packed with so much. In the private room upstairs at the tavern, Subai finally reveals the contents of his bag. The others gathered there are stunned into silence, whispering among themselves and wondering if this might actually be a treasure bag. Subai lays everything out and calmly says that everything they need is right here. The assistant, however, mutters that he's just too good at pretending. Now the real matter comes up, the price. Lin Yuchen cannot take her eyes off the shine of the treasures. Spread before her are an AF-level job change crystal, 50 E-level crystals, 20 C-grade pieces, 30 D-grade pieces, and 5 B-grade crystals. Every type one could possibly need is there, sitting in plain sight. Subai even mentions that there's a 5-level job transfer crystal if she's interested. Then he casually adds that he also has an S-level job transfer crystal, something he had almost forgotten about. The moment he says it, the room falls into stunned silence. Out of everything he's displayed so far, this single crystal is the most shocking of all. No one present can believe what they're seeing, an actual S-level job change crystal lying right in front of them. 11:16 a.m. Lin Yuchen is speechless as she stares at it. The notification displays the item's information clearly, an S-level career transfer crystal, Mage Scholar. The assistant behind her blurts out in disbelief that this really is an S-level crystal. Lin Yuchen picks it up carefully, holds it for a moment, and feels its power before setting it back down on the table. Her expression makes it clear there's no way she can pass this up. She needs it, and she needs it now. She asks him how much it will take, how much she will have to pay. Subai doesn't waste time. He explains that everything except for the S-grade crystal will be sold at market price. For payment, he wants 10% in cash and the rest in gold coins. On top of that, he will prepare a list of supplies and expects her help in purchasing them. Lin Yuchen nods quickly, confident that such an arrangement won't be a problem. Supplies are the easiest thing for her to handle. Subai then hands over a sheet of paper, explaining that it's the list he wants purchased. A soldier standing nearby accepts it with a nod and says it looks fine. Lin Yuchen then instructs him to head out immediately and begin arranging the purchase. Once the deal is set, Subai leans back on the sofa and tells them that it's time to discuss the S-grade crystal, asking Lin Yuchen to give him a quote. She starts calculating quickly, unwilling to let such a chance slip away, and immediately offers 200 million in cash. The number leaves Subai stunned. He hadn't expected something so outrageous. 200 million? He thinks to himself that it can't really be worth that much. After all, he's already seen treasures of insane value, and this crystal didn't seem on that same level. But Lin Yuchen isn't finished. She explains that S-level job transfer crystals are always in short supply, so her offer is more than reasonable. Along with the cash, she promises 200,000 gold coins and even adds a house in Linfeng City, the first city of the Tower of God. The guards behind her can't hide their shock, muttering that such a property is unbelievably expensive and out of reach for ordinary people. Subai pauses, weighing it all in his mind. The more he thinks about it, the more he realizes the offer is indeed worth no less than what she claims. Lin Yuchen waits quietly for his response, watching him closely. Finally, he says he understands and won't haggle further, only asking if payment within 7 days would be acceptable. For Lin Yuchen, that isn't a problem. She agrees right away and urges him to sign the contract without wasting time. The contract is drawn up and signed, with Lin Yuchen watching every stroke of his pen, as though afraid something might go wrong. When the notification confirms the deal is complete, they shake hands. Subai tells her it's a pleasure to work together, while she replies that she looks forward to their cooperation. With the deal sealed, Subai offers her the chance to say anything else on her mind. Lin Yuchen admits that the entire world already knows he obtained an SSS-level job transfer crystal, and tells him that the Lin Group would gladly welcome him. But Subai only waves it off, saying they can talk about it later, since he has no intention of changing jobs right now. This response puzzles Lin Yuchen. She wonders why he wouldn't switch jobs immediately, asking herself if he isn't worried that someone might come and steal it. Subai simply laughs it off, saying he has his own plans, and then excuses himself to return to his room and rest. 11:17 a.m. Meanwhile, the tavern buzzes with gossip. The regulars whisper that this is the first time they've seen the Lin family's eldest daughter act so gentle with anyone, and they speculate about who the mysterious man might be. Some suggest it could really be Subai, but others dismiss the idea, pointing out that someone who cleared the 10th floor of the Tower of God wouldn't be wandering around in beginner's gear. Subai, overhearing the chatter as he walks away, can hear them gradually realizing the truth. Some recognize him outright and exclaim that it really was Subai just now. Still, many remain doubtful, arguing that a player of his level should be draped in luxurious equipment, not dressed more poorly than an ordinary adventurer. Others counter that strong players often hide their identities on purpose, so it makes sense. Even the boss lady joins in, scolding him in absentia. She complains that because of Subai, she's now facing all sorts of trouble that's affecting her business, and insists he must be held accountable. The boss lady heads towards the room where Subai is sleeping silently. She first looks at him and thinks to herself that he is hiding here to sleep. Then, she steps closer and kicks him lightly. Subai, still half asleep, asks in a drowsy voice why she is there and why she is being so loud. The boss lady puts her face close to his and tells him that she cannot do her business properly because of him. She also asks if his name is Nana and warns that he had better find a way to fix the mess downstairs, or else she will kill him. Subai, however, still wonders if Nana is really her name. Then, he pulls out a large pile of gold coins and shows them to her. The boss lady is shocked and surprised after seeing them. Subai asks if that is enough to pay for his room. The tavern lady replies that the amount is more than enough and says she is a professional at solving problems. Still, Subai mentions that he is tired and asks if he can sleep a little longer. He adds that killing people is an option, but the boss lady reassures him that she is not a murderer. Subai then tells her that he has a business deal to discuss. The tavern lady wonders if he has brought her another rare wine recipe. She asks how many recipes he has this time, but instead of a recipe, Subai takes out a crystal. The sight leaves the boss lady speechless. She says he is truly capable and asks if he really obtained an SSS-level job transfer crystal. Subai responds that he plans to begin the God's test. Hearing this, the boss lady finally understands, but she still wonders how he knows about the God's test. Subai explains in his own mind that he has taken the test over 100 times in his past life and, of course, he knows about it. But he does not reveal this to her. Instead, he simply tells her that she does not need to know the details, only to answer his question whether he is qualified. The boss lady explains that the crystal itself is the certificate for entering the test of gods. She says that inside, he cannot gain any gold coins or equipment. There is only one reward, the hidden profession crystal. But she also wants to confirm if Subai is completely certain about participating, because once he enters, the crystal will be consumed and he only gets one chance. Subai thinks about how he failed more than 100 times in his previous life, but this time he is determined not to fail. He tells the boss lady that he is absolutely certain about his decision and asks her to schedule the test. This leaves her speechless, and after a pause, she mutters that if he wants to die, she won't stop him. Subai calmly replies that she does not need to worry, since he has a long life ahead of him and he will not die here. At that moment, the crystal in his hand begins to crack apart. The boss lady takes the crystal and says that they are about to begin. A system notification appears, declaring that the god's test has begun, and asks if he wants to enter. It also warns that once he enters, there will be no turning back, so he should consider carefully. A huge magic circle suddenly forms beneath the tavern lady. She once again tells Subai that it is not too late to regret his choice. Subai asks her when she became so talkative, reminding her that she usually was not like this. Hearing this, she angrily kicks him straight into the magic circle, snapping that if he really thinks she is nagging, then he can go to hell instead. With a bang, Subai is pulled into the circle. As he descends, a mysterious voice echoes in his mind, telling him not to use that trick. The boss lady is left behind, frowning as she wonders what that strange message could mean. She mutters to herself that this brat always gives her an oddly familiar feeling. Inside the trial, lava spreads out everywhere. Subai lies on a solid block of ground surrounded by the molten rivers. As he slowly rises, he thinks about how familiar the place feels. He tells himself that he is back in the god's test once again. Looking at the system notification, he confirms that it is exactly the same as it had been in his past life. The message explains that he has officially entered the god's test, and that his equipment and backpack slots have been sealed. All amplifications have been temporarily removed, and will only be restored after passing the test. Subai begins walking forward through the fiery landscape. Along the path, he notices countless skulls scattered across the ground, evidence of those who failed to escape. As he passes them, he reflects that the corpses lying in the dark river are all the remains of men who once had the courage to challenge this trial. Although it seems contradictory, it is true. Those brave ones are exactly what he came here to surpass. And in this life, he tells himself it will not end the same way. Subai checked his stat window again and sighed that the bonuses from weapons and equipment were almost non-existent, and even his backpack was sealed. His name was displayed as Subai. His level remained fixed at 10, unchangeable. His occupation had not yet been altered. His strength, agility, physical, and spirit stats all showed at 100. His health stood at 1,000, calculated as constitution times 10. His magic value was also 1,000 from spirit times 10. His physical attack was listed at 200, calculated as strength times 2, and his magic attack was the same, spirit times 2. His gear consisted only of a novice longsword, rough, a novice shortsword, rough, and a beginner's tunic, rough. Even so, Subai reminded himself that at least the golden shovel he had obtained earlier was not sealed by the system. He pulled it out, gripping it firmly in his hands. A new notification flashed before him, warning that a large wave of crypt demons was approaching. All players were instructed to prepare for battle. A countdown appeared, starting at 59 seconds, quickly dropping toward 55. Subai readied his stance, weapon in hand. He thought to himself that his current attributes were already higher than when he had attempted the god's test in his previous life. If he were to fail again this time, it would be far too shameful. The countdown ticked down for 3. Subai muttered that the activity area was only a little over 1,000 square meters wide, which meant he would need to stay completely focused. One wrong step into the surrounding lava would mean instant death. At 2 seconds, a portal flared open. Dark shapes began emerging. Soon, dozens of crypt demons poured into the arena. Each was classified as elite level 10, with 250 magic attack, 180 defense, and 2,000 health. Their skills included spider web and burrow. Subai narrowed his eyes. He recognized them immediately and whispered that he was ready for them. The demons multiplied quickly, filling the ground. Rather than waiting, Subai launched forward first, striking one with a fierce blow. His critical hit cut down 500 HP in an instant, but he frowned. Compared to the massive numbers he was used to inflicting, the damage felt pitiful. He swung again, and this time his strike pierced deeper, reducing the creature's full 2,000 HP in one blow. The system immediately notified him of his first demon kill, awarding him 1 point. It encouraged him to continue. Subai muttered that the reward seemed stingy, but he wasted no time. He dashed forward again, slicing down demon after demon. His critical strikes began landing harder, each slashing off 2,000 HP at once. Now, 3 crypt demons fell before him in single hits, minutes, collapsing under the weight of his golden shovel. Cutting steel was one of the most basic applications of sword energy. Beyond that, there were techniques like sword chi slash and sword chi assault, skills that could drastically boost a player's combat power. In a situation like this, with dozens of monsters rushing toward him, Subai knew he needed something truly powerful to break through. Even as he fought, he thought to himself that without mastering these techniques, he would never be able to pass the test. Experience alone wasn't enough, but the monsters weren't simple either. They moved with cunning, waiting for the right moment to overwhelm him. Subai, however, sensed the ambush. His instincts sharpened. He immediately dodged, avoiding the coordinated strikes, and countered with a fierce blow. His sword landed cleanly, tearing through one of the demons with a critical strike. The creature's health dropped by 2,000 in an instant. It was a one-hit kill, and he managed to land it 3 times in a row. The system chimed, demons killed, 3, current points, 10. Another notification followed. Tip, accumulate 100 points to gain 1 chance to restore your status. That small detail lifted his spirits. With a grin spreading across his face, Subai launched himself back into battle, blades flashing as he cut down wave after wave of demons. Notifications flooded his screen with every strike. Meanwhile, on the message boards, the entire forum buzzed with speculation. At floor 25, one user asked why Subai still hadn't used his SSS level job transfer crystal. Another, on floor 26, complained that he was too reckless, saying he should have activated it long ago. On floor 27, someone else wondered aloud if he wasn't afraid of losing it altogether. Further down, the gossip shifted. By floor 156, rumors spread that Lin Yuchan was auctioning off novice gear in town, items of unusually high quality, including a variety of job transfer crystals. Floor 157 erupted with shock. Players questioned if those items had come from Subai himself. And at floor 158, another poster confirmed it with certainty, saying there was no doubt. Lin Yuchan was only level 4. Who else could possibly have supplied such treasures, if not Subai? At level 159, some players speculated that Subai would never sell his SSS level crystals. Yet the rumors and debates continued endlessly, even spilling into the Novice Town Tavern. Inside, the tavern lady snapped at the crowd, warning them in a sharp voice that if they dared step onto the second floor again, she would treat them as thieves and kill them on the spot. She made it clear that Subai was not upstairs, and that his SSS-level job transfer crystal had already been shattered into useless fragments. She hoped that this would put an end to the constant harassment aimed at Subai, but the restless crowd refused to believe her. Some muttered that there was no way such a crystal could have been destroyed, demanding proof. Another scoffed, calling it impossible. The lady only sneered in response. She reminded them that proof wasn't necessary to kill someone. She insisted that she had crushed the crystal with her own hands, and if they doubted her, they were welcome to test her grip strength themselves. Her words carried a chilling edge as she asked if it was strong enough to crush their hands, or even their heads. But she warned that anyone who volunteered for such an experiment might not live through it. Meanwhile, in the strategy group's meeting room, the atmosphere grew tense. The leader and his team were reviewing information when a scout rushed in, pale-faced, and reported that Dana, the tavern keeper, had claimed to personally destroy Subai's SSS-level crystal. The leader was stunned, demanding confirmation, while the rest of the group fell silent. They reasoned that Dana was an NPC and would never lie, which meant the news had to be true. With that realization, despair washed over them. They had just lost the last thread of hope they had been holding on to. Far away, the wider player base erupted in mixed reactions across the message boards. On floor 1008, someone mocked Subai, laughing that Yarn Country had produced a fool who flaunted his crystal everywhere but never used it, only to have it destroyed. On floor 1059, another declared between fits of laughter that it was like a cooked duck flying away right when it was ready to be eaten, using Yarn Country's own saying to drive the insult home. By level 1324, the tone shifted to something darker. Players insisted that this was destiny, that Yarn Nation was unworthy of possessing an SSS-level crystal. They claimed that only Fabing Nation deserved such glory, and that the honor of having a second SSS-level superplayer would belong to them alone. At level 1447, players from Sakura Country grew confident, boldly declaring that their next SSS-level superplayer would surely come from their nation. They placed their hopes on Yumori Guang, the son of Lord Yumarita, insisting that he was destined to surpass even his father's mastery. Meanwhile, at the strategy group meeting, the atmosphere was tense. The leader slammed the table and shouted in frustration, furious that such an important crystal had been lost. One of the men present smirked, remarking that he had always said Subai was unworthy of being in the first team, and that this incident only proved him right. Pei Ling Xiu, standing nearby, glared at him and snapped, asking why he always had to stir up trouble. But the man only laughed mockingly, teasing her and suggesting that she might be attracted to Subai. She angrily told him to shut his mouth. The boss cut in, irritated, demanding to know why they were wasting time bickering when all the SSS-level newcomers were already gone. Pei Ling Xiu quickly clarified that shouting at them was pointless. After all, she was not the one who had crushed the crystal. The boss waved off the quarrel and issued his next command. They were to defend the Tower of God, and the moment Subai left the novice area, they were to capture him immediately. Another subordinate questioned why they even needed to bother with Subai now, arguing that it was unrealistic to expect him to produce another SSS-level crystal. But the boss countered sharply, calling them all useless. He reminded them that Subai's record-breaking performance in clearing stages proved he possessed rare skills. With such potential, it wasn't impossible that another SSS-level crystal could appear in the future. Pei Ling Xiu chuckled and admitted that the boss's reasoning was far sharper than their own. One of the men then asked which method they should employ: torture, coercion, or inducement. The boss scolded him harshly, asking if he was a bandit or some prison thug. Torture, he said, was both foolish and impossible against someone like Subai. Instead, he ordered inducement. No matter how much money it took, they were to lure Subai and make him reveal his true skills. This, he declared, was critical for the future of Yen country, and none of them were allowed to fail. Back within the god's test at the first level, Subai faced another wave of spiders rushing at him. He slashed them down effortlessly, landing critical hits and killing each with a single strike. Laughing in excitement, he challenged them as if they were little devils before his sword. Soon after, a system notification rang out, congratulating him for passing the first level and urging him to continue forward. Subai finally let out a deep sigh of relief. 10 long hours had passed, and the first stage was at last over. His body felt drained, but there was no time to celebrate. He reminded himself that this was only the beginning, just the first level. Ahead of him stretched 9 more trials, and to clear them all he would need to slay 1,000,000 monsters and push his way to SSS rank. As he stepped into the next area, the environment shifted drastically. The blazing fire and molten ground of the first stage disappeared, replaced by a vast open space filled with jagged rocks, some even floating unnaturally in the air. Subai glanced at the counter and calculated. There were 11,034 enemies waiting here. It was only a fraction of the total, yet the road ahead already seemed endless. A system notification appeared, informing him that he had entered the second level. His status had been refreshed, but a large wave of stinging demons was approaching. The countdown began at 59, ticking lower by the second. Subai steadied his breathing and began circulating his magic to recover his strength. The novice period was nearing its end, and he had no time to waste. The buzzing reached his ears before the swarm appeared. Bees, thousands of them, shot toward him, their wings cutting the air like blades. He immediately realized the danger. Their venomous stingers could drain his life with every hit. The sound of their wings filled the entire space, a suffocating cloud of noise. Instead of panicking, Subai muttered to himself that it was troublesome, but in a way just right. He swapped his weapon for the iron whip of thorns. It was nothing special, only novice grade, yet its wide sweep made it more practical here than a single blade. The fact that equipment could be switched freely inside the test gave him an advantage. The swarm closed in. Subai lashed out once, stepping back at the same time. The whip tore through the air, releasing a wave of force. 20 demons dropped instantly with a single critical strike. A small smile crossed his face, exactly as he had predicted. The whip was perfect for this kind of fight. The bee demons might have speed and deadly poison, but their defense was pitiful and their health low. Without pausing, he followed up with sword extinction, cutting down another 20 in a single sweep. Another strike fell 30 more, and then another 40 gone in one hit. The notifications flickered non-stop as his kill count surged upward, and Subai pressed forward with growing momentum, carving his way into the swarm. 12 hours later, Subai was still fighting. His movements had become almost mechanical, critical strikes flowing one after another. The swarm of stinging demons had seemed endless, but with every lash and every strike, the numbers thinned. His latest kill was 19 in a single blow, bringing his total points to an astonishing 2,552,100. Finally, the last of the bees hit the ground, their lifeless bodies covering the battlefield. Subai stood tall amidst the silence, chest rising and falling with exhaustion. He muttered to himself that he was finally done. He had killed them all. Switching back to another weapon, he began moving forward again. The second level, he reflected, had not been so bad after all, though nearly 250,000 bee demons had been waiting for him there. A system notification urged him to recover before proceeding, reminding him that more trials awaited. He obeyed, steadying his breath and regaining strength. Soon after, another notification appeared. You have reached the third level. All statuses refreshed. A large wave of witchcraft imps is approaching. Players prepare to fight back. The countdown began once more. 59, 58, 57. Without hesitation, Su-bai switched weapons again. The witchcraft imps specialized in long-range chanting, so he selected a short bow, the most effective counter. With it, he could fire arrows rapidly before the imps could complete their spells. As the goblin-like creatures appeared, they locked eyes on Su-bai, raising their hands to chant in unison. Dark magical energy gathered at their fingertips, ready to strike him down. But Su-bai was already drawing his bowstring. He loosed arrow after arrow in a seamless rhythm, and the battlefield lit with the cries of wounded imps. Their casting faltered. Spells fizzled midway, the concentration broken by his relentless attacks. He knew their weakness well. Long chanting times made them vulnerable to anyone with faster reflexes, and speed was his greatest strength. With sharp confidence, he told himself that when it came to speed, he had never feared anyone. Critical arrows pierced through their defenses. 5 fell instantly, one after another. He adjusted his aim and fired again, targeting those who had managed to finish chanting. Bolts of dark magic streaked toward him in return. His agility saved him, dodging at the last possible moment, but he realized grimly that even one hit could prove fatal. He had to be faster still. Meanwhile, far away in the Tower of God, the 10th floor shook with excitement. An announcement echoed through the sky. Congratulations to player Lin Mengxuan for clearing the nightmare platform on the 10th floor of the Tower of God. Time, 40 hours, 23 minutes, 15 seconds. The woman herself stood with a calm yet determined expression. Though she had secured her place, her eyes narrowed as she thought aloud. Second place was not enough. Somewhere out there was the one who had taken first, Su-bai. If fate allowed, she intended to meet him. Then we take a look at a notification window about Novice Test Day 6 in the city. According to the latest stats, more than 4.5 million players have qualified this year. By the end of the novice period, the number of players who finish the game is expected to be about the same as in previous years. This year's list of new professional classes has also been released. There are 110 S-rank newcomers and 21 SS-rank players. Among Yen Nation's newcomers, 8 have advanced to S-rank or higher, 6 S-rank and only 2 SS rank. This news spreads quickly across the city, and everyone starts talking about it. Outside, groups of people gather and chat about the rankings. One man sighs and says that this year is the same as the previous 2 years. Yen country is strong in the first half but weak in the second half. Still, he admits it is better than last year when there was only one S-rank player. Another man comments that this year they at least have Zhao Zhangkai, a gunner, and Wei Lan, a two-handed swordsman, both of whom belong to high-damage professions. A third person brings up that Lin Mengxuan's berserker is also focused on violent damage output, and that Lin Yuchan herself is an S-rank mage scholar. Then someone wonders aloud where Su-bai is. Later, in a pub, a man asks Lin Yuchan why she turned down the invitations from Lin Mengxian and Zhao Zhangkai. He presses further, telling her that there is no need to give up such a good opportunity just for Su-bai, and that if she had accepted, the Dongqing Lin family might have risen to a higher level. But Lin Yuchan, calmly sipping her drink, asks instead whether he had finished the last-minute tasks she gave him. She reminds him that today is the final day. The man replies that he is ready, but still tries to continue speaking. Before he can, however, Lady Yuchan cuts him off. She tells him that she has her own plans and that even if she explained, he would not understand. Finally, another system notification window appears. She swipes through a few menus, bringing up her friend list, which shows Su-bai, Abnormal State, Su-chi Online, and Chung Fei Online. After looking at the notification, she smiles and remarks that it has already been 6 days. Ever since the Abnormal State was flagged, news about the crystal's destruction has spread everywhere. Because of that, she reasons Su-bai must still be in the novice zone. She admits she doesn't know what kind of surprises he will bring to the world once he comes out, but she is certain he will bring something unexpected. Her curiosity runs deep, because so far, everything she has seen Su-bai do has been astonishing, always unpredictable, always beyond expectations. People may try to guess what he might do next, but he never follows those guesses. At least she and her group are among the lucky ones who can clearly see his progress, unlike the others who can only speculate without any real idea of what he is accomplishing. The scene then shifts to the 7th level of the God's Test. It is a mountainous area shrouded in drifting clouds, though it is hard to tell whether it lies high in the sky or deep beneath some ocean-like abyss. There, a horde of stone-bodied monsters with massive eyeballs are locked in battle. They are being bombarded by countless blue magical arrows, each arrow exploding on impact and scattering shards of stone. The attacker is revealed to be Su-bai himself. He unleashes a barrage of ice arrows, each one striking with devastating precision. Every shot lands as a critical hit, dropping the monsters instantly. It becomes a chain of one-hit combos, and Just like before, Su-bai's relentless assault works wonders, clearing out wave after wave of enemies and securing his path forward. Su-bai scoffs at the monster's defense, remarking that high defense means nothing when faced with freezing attacks. The harder the target, the more brittle it becomes once frozen. Against other opponents, the stone creatures might have been unstoppable, but against him, they are nothing. He then prepares to climb higher, thinking about how it is already the 6th day. With 3 levels still left, he knows he must speed up the process. A notification suddenly pops up, level 8 reached. All statuses refreshed. Incoming threat, poisonous armored holy insects. Prepare for battle. Countdown begins. 59, 58, 57. As the timer ticks down, Su-bai sees the swarm of poisonous insects moving to surround him. But he laughs at their attempt, declaring that if they think they can trap him, they are only dreaming. With one massive strike, he delivers critical hits that instantly kill 29 of them. 6 hours later, another monster roars in fury at him. Su-bai, wielding a fiery sword, mocks it for being far too slow. With a sweeping strike, he lands another series of critical hits. 14 enemies fall in one blow, followed by another 10 in the next. A system notification then rings out. Ding! God's test score has reached 1 million points. There are 24 hours left until the end of the novice test. New players, please pay attention to the time. Excited, Su-bai leaps into the air, thrilled at reaching the milestone. He knows there is still the final level boss waiting, and defeating it will grant him the coveted brave achievement. After finishing off another monster, he pushes forward until he arrives at a glowing orb, pulsing with red light and crackling with electrical energy. Determined, Su-bai braces himself and touches the orb, ready to summon the final boss. A massive mark spreads across the ground the moment he makes contact, and with a thunderous boom, the Red Lotus Demon appears. Its details flash before his eyes. Type Demon King Demon. Level 10. Magic attack 5000. Defense 2000. HP 1 million. Skill Hellfire. The battle for the final stage has begun. Su-bai, standing on the ground, gets even more excited and says that this is exactly the opponent he wanted. The monster raises its weapon and screams that it will destroy all humans. With a flashy, devastating move, it tries to strike Su-bai down. Su-bai immediately dodges out of the way and admits to himself that the demon is still extremely difficult to handle. He thinks that this really is a true demon-level boss. With a defense value of 2000, he tells himself that landing any real damage on it is impossible for now. The monster holds its enormous sword, glowing like the sun, and scans the battlefield to locate Su-bai. Su-bai reminds himself that he will have to keep fighting in a smart way and decides that he must wait for the right opportunity to deal the finishing blow. After preparing his strategy, he jumps into the air. The monster notices the movement immediately. At that moment, Su-bai is engulfed in blue energy. He says that this battle feels like a cat and mouse game he has played dozens of times in his previous life, but now it is far more exciting. He adds that this time he has a hook to rely on. While flying on a block of rock, Su-bai locks his eyes on the demon, ready to push his strategy into action. Su-bai suddenly gets startled as a group of skeletons appear right beside him. Each one is being controlled through thin threads of energy sent out by him. He tells himself that he wants the monster to taste its own magma. He lands back on the ground, while the monster screams that it will cut him into pieces and avenge the brave warriors that Su-bai had defeated before. Su-bai replies sharply. A dagger, forming out of glowing blue energy in his hand, gleams as he rushes forward. He shouts for the monster to die and slashes hard, landing a strike that takes off one of its limbs. The monster is shocked at the sudden attack, but Su-bai announces that this is the end for it. He charges again, this time drawing his bow, and begins firing arrows at point-blank range. The monster is caught completely off guard, unable to react, forced to stand helplessly as arrow after arrow pierces into its body. While the monster reels from the hits, another surge of blue energy races from rock to rock, and the demon is struck once again by an arrow. Su-bai laughs loudly, saying that as long as he can break through its defense, he can kill even gods. With that confidence, he readies yet another arrow on his shining bow. Before he can fire the finishing blow, the monster lets out a furious scream. It curses humans, shouting that it cannot believe such fragile beings would be the ones to defeat it. Even worse, it realizes, is the humiliation of being brought down not by an army, but by a single human, Su-bai alone. For the Red Lotus Demon, this is the greatest shame it could ever face. Subscribe now to not miss any action from our heroic Su-bai,